And do a search for Karan Sharma.
It wasn't too overwhelming.
And you should see a bunch of videos. So you need in your YouTube interface, you'll be able to see programs that are live. And it's streaming now under that name, although he hasn't arrived. We're just broadcasting the room that he'll be speaking in. If you want to give it a try, you could call me back, and then if you have difficulty connecting, I can try and talk you through it.
Oh, that's a cool name.
Should I give you my phone number now? 415-863.
That is really
3045. The client will be in trouble, but if you do have difficulty, just call me back and we'll try to figure out how to locate it. All right. Nice to hear your voice anyway. Bye-bye.
So, hopefully this isn't the plate and the... All right, so we got three of us, critical mass. Chanting, living room?
Sure.
Go for it.
I'm just gonna leave my tea here.
Sure.
I think it'll be okay.
So, Indra.
You might, how out of tune is the guitar? You didn't like have a chance to look yet, yes?
I think it will be fine.
Okay. Well then I would vote for doing Ramachandra Stabak here and now.
Okay, sounds good.
And doing Guru Stotram in the temple.
Okay.
What age are you on? 14?
Everything. 19 for Ramachandra Stabak. Cool. So since we did this last week, I think Sylvia, you're good to just jump in, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, we don't have to like do it back this week now. Yeah. I'll just follow you.
Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Namo Gurave Namaha. Buddha-vasthi Sanghara Kaini Shahadini Sarva Shriya Sarim Sita Nato Amrama Shamati Vishwamativam Brahmani Devasura Yatsakadam Vishwamati Sakala Rajayatari Brahma Yapada Kadameka Bhati Bhava Sorry, my brain disconnected. Vandeham
I call him later. Did you want me to sit for a minute?
It's okay.
You want to sneak in for a minute? There's chairs. You just have to sit across the minute. It's fine.
Hey,
In between, you do one more, something for that to do.
Okay, let me just do one small thing. Dr. G. Pizza.
Is it, what is it?
I think it's a small flower-like sort of thing.
This is possible.
take it outside. Okay, better idea.
Hey, Chatterjee.
नमस्कारः
Namo Nama.
कथम् अस्ति
Berkeley with.
Teaching now she's teaching Pali there.
So maybe
So maybe.
we might end up finishing this. If we do, that's the book. So, Uttariganthanyam Atva, few more verses.
How about a couple verses something? Here and then.
Okay. We're almost to the end of Ramachandra's for that.
Let's hope you come back. I didn't mean to take you out.
Maybe something or other.
I'll listen.
Sarvavikantastitam bhavadbhir iti jatam maya
It won't be.
yatam. So that sorry, turned it 19F, and the non-masked about. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
The last one, can we have it as Vaidehi Pataye Namah?
Oh. Is that
The
the
Sita, yeah.
Tulsidas?
No, it is the tradition has it. Tulsidas doesn't have it. It is oral tradition. So Sitaya Pataye Nama does not suit Pani. So Pati Samasa Eva. So
Oh, yes, of course, it is a mistake, yeah.
so Vaidehi Pataye Nama would be all right. And it should be all right. Vaidehi is the most common name of Sita. Vaidehi.
One of my favorite verses is the one that starts with Vaidehi Sahitam. Yeah. This is, all right, so we're going to now go on a brief trip to temple. And Devadatta has been leading us in this very divine version of Guru Stotram. So if you bring your binders, Guru Stotram is...
Oh, maybe do it.
Yeah. We should do at least some of it.
Sure.
It's so nice. All right, so we do an up tune every 4 verses. So be alert to go up every 4.
So everybody bring a binder, and maybe if you have extra room to bring 2.
Two shoes and 2 people here. You're gonna come up with it? How many can you sit?
500 each at least.
I've been there before.
We have plenty of room.
I don't want to crowd it.
No, there's
Charity, it's, you do what is good for your heart.
Yeah, I can go there and participate.
No, you come up, Charity. Yes.
Okay, then I
Shut
take
up,
my
it
shoes.
might be better for him not to do
No,
more stairs.
if he's okay, I'd say.
I've been there before. I've been here, but I have not seen a new
Oh, it is a nice sign. But are you feeling like you got the rest enough from the
No, I just-
first
I
round of
just-
stairs?
Okay.
So bring your shoes to the kitchen, and then the kitchen.
Ready after the-
Oh,
wait,
it's
after-
from Valley. I showed you that, one with the gold. Oh,
I
yeah,
can't
yeah,
remember,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, and chewed up my, but he has this friend that's the rovers.
A dog friend?
A dog friend, and the dog friend, the dog friend, says it's necessary to bark at us.
Oh,
Yeah. So, you hear the.
Yes? I'm opening it. Right. We don't always achieve the middle path. The middle path would be that the door is not open, but it is unlocked. So,
Oh, my God.
yeah, pretty much. Annatitam gagana sadrisham. Tapamasya virushyam. Ekam nityam vimamasham. Sarvadhi sakshi bhutam.
Sorry to be late. How are you?
Thank you so much. All the best.
All the best. Ah. Where do you want me?
Don't know yet.
Okay.
We thought we'd see who show up, and
Wait a second.
we probably will add a table.
Okay, I'll just try. Sorry to be late.
All right.
Get here by 1, I have to be by 9:30 or 10.
It turns out. The most important thing is
What?
that you are here.
Ah, well, thank you. What a nice day.
Incredible.
Hello. Hello.
You missed the hut.
Oh, yeah. The bus is on Sunday. Was it close right there? I mean, hot?
Yeah, it was hot.
Hi,
It was
you were
breezy. It was beautiful.
It was breezy though,
You can
that's
see
good.
the little box outside on the side. Beautiful. Okay.
No, that's our me. That's what. Just go to the cards now. Goes to his brother's
I
daughter.
shall take this.
Oh,
We're gonna bring this table out.
I think I'm gonna bring a table out.
Did it just happen?
3 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Already, yeah. Let me get this over here.
I didn't bring it. Oh,
Sorry.
sorry.
You guys can.
What?
Where should we sit over here?
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
there's seating.
Well, you like translation.
Oh,
thank you.
So,
Yeah, what's
in the
Couch or
chair.
the other chair.
I'll sit here.
That's right.
I have become a one of yours. Eat that.
So, sweetheart, you
This
making
table.
sure everybody gets copies?
Well, this, I'm not doing that part yet. Here,
Okay.
David, would you test these out?
Sure. Lander over.
Oh, you're the Hunter outer.
Thank you.
Dr. Sharma?
Yes.
I don't like to sit on something.
Where do you want to go? Are you going to couch or?
Eventually, probably, well, maybe, I don't know. Thanks.
Sorry, do you want a table?
Oh. Oh, yeah, I have a table. I don't care.
You can sit there.
Do you want a
You can
table?
sit there. huh?
Are you sure?
Genevieve, let's back you up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put the table.
Well,
Sorry, let's see that.
I'm going to, okay.
The table.
Okay, that would be great.
We're going,
What's the idea?
David Data.
And we can put this
Hi,
up.
so
I have room.
Lily's over here.
This,
Oh,
I
do I
don't
really
even know
need
what's
paper?
That's
Is
wonderful.
this somebody's?
Fantastic. I don't know. We actually have a table. I think that's, yeah.
That's good.
Usually it's,
Well,
yeah.
we'll
This is
see if
probably
there
the
is
best
here.
we can do.
Whoops.
You want to say
You've got one, so can I use this?
What? Really?
Then a little bit too, so that-
The name Devadatta is so common in, especially in the textbooks of philosophy.
Right. If you have a copy of Vedas, chapter 10.
For example, there is one source of or instrument of cognition, Arthapatti. Arthapatti, that is
I don't know, it's here. Can I go get one?
that is accepted by Vedanta. Sankhya does not believe in it,
What picture is it?
but Vedantins say Arthapatti is one of the instruments of cognition. And the example set for that is that Devadatta does not eat during daytime, but he is hale and hearty.
Why does that happen?
So when I go home, I'm gonna
So
reserve.
Devadatta Divana Bhukti.
Password.
What's that phrase you just said? Devadatta?
Divana Bhukti.
I'll do like
Divana.
$15.
He does not eat during daytime,
Keeper there.
And then.
but he is hale and hearty. How is it possible?
Is that from,
So
tell
he
me what,
must be eating in the night.
what's the source of that? The source?
Everywhere in all Vedantic books.
Okay.
In all Vedantic books.
Well, Devadatta is usually a reference for
That's right.
Yeah,
Vivekananda.
it's like.
Onion comes up.
That's right.
Yeah.
So this sutta is called Nasadiya Sutta. And it has 7 verses, 7 mantras. And this is called Bhava Vritta. Bhava Vritta means that it talks about the secret of creation. So its Rishi also is God himself, Prajapati. And the presiding deity also is God. And the meter is by and large Trishtu, 11 syllabic meter. But there are certain exceptions in the, for example, in the last mantra, the second pada is just 9 syllables. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Only 9 syllables are there in second pada. But it is considered to be a type of Trishtu, because all the other three padas are 11 syllabic. So let us start. Na Sadasit Om. We must have Om also in the beginning. Na Sadasit.
Na Sadasi,
No Sadasit.
No Sadasi,
Tadanim.
Tadanim,
Nasidrajo.
Nasi Rajo,
No Vyoma Paruyat.
No Vyoma Paruya,
Kimavariva.
Himavariva,
Kuhakasya Sharman.
Kuhakasya Sharman,
Ambah Kimasit.
Amba Kimasi,
Gahanang Gabhiram.
Gahanam Gaviram.
So here also the problem, metrical problem is there. In the second pada, Nasid Rajo no Vyoma Paruyat. We have to read Vyoma as Vyoma. Vyoma. That is of course is also we are advised by Pratishakya, and that's what a German scholar Ziefer also he has given. That is Ziefer's law. Ziefer's law it is written, but it is read out as Ziefer's law. So Vyoma is to be read as Vyoma. So whatever the meaning is very, very frustrating meaning and confusing meaning. Na asat asit. Neither there was non-existent, nor there was existent. No sat asit. No is just like English no, but it has na and u put together. U means definitely, and na u means definitely not. No u. So na asat asit. Asat is a present participle of as. As means to be. So sat means non-existent, and asat means no has been there, and there has been a compound with no. So the no of the syllable no, the end of the syllable no has been dropped, has been elided, and remains. So asat. Asat means non-existent. So na asat asit. So double negatives otherwise in other places, they make a strong positive sense. But here it is literal. There was no non-existent in the beginning of creation. So what does it mean? And it goes further and it says, then it means that something was existent. No, there was nothing existent either. So no Sat Asit. No, who definitely there was no Sat. There was no existent. Sat here is just present participle of us to be existent. So there was no non-existent and there was no existent. And Nasid Raja. Raja means the other worlds. The other world, and it is, even though it is singular, it has the plural sense. So Nasid Raja, there was no other world. And then no Vyoma. Vyoma is very simple. Vyoma is Akasha, space, and there was no space, and nor anything that goes further above Akasha. There are seven worlds supposed to be above Akasha, above space. Bhur, Bhuvar, and Swar, and Maha, Janaha, Tapaha, and Satyam. There are the seven worlds are above Akasha. And similarly, 7 worlds are below Akasha. That is, up below our earth. And the lowest one is Patala. And so there was nothing, no world was there, and nothing above Akasha was also. Vyoma Paro Yat was not there. And moreover, Kim Avariva. Avariva is a frequentative verb. Kimavariva. What was there to cover? What was there to cover? Kimavariva. Kuha Kasya Sharman. And Kuha means that where. And where and what? Where and what? Kasya Sharman, whose action was to be covered, to be pervaded, to be covered. That means the people perform actions, and accordingly they get their bodies according to they get their body according to the fruits of action performed in the past. How to consume the fruits of actions performed in the past, karma phala. So what was there? whose sermon, sermon means good or bad actions here. Sermon generally means the well-being of somebody. But here its sermon means good or bad action. Whose good or bad action was, where was it that could have been covered? Kimavariva. Kimavariva. Kuha. Kuha is what in classical Sanskrit you have Putra and Kwa. So in Vedic Sanskrit there is a special word Kuha. Of course in classical Sanskrit also sometimes it is used, but rarely. So Kuha means, and from that Hindi word Kahan. Kahan is there. From that Kuha. So Kim avaliva kuha kasya sharman. And where was, generally it is felt that water was there even when the world was dissolved. But this is the stage of extreme deluge, when there was nothing, no, not even water. Amba kimasi gahanam gabhiram. Gahanam gabhiram. Gahanam is immensely, gabhiram is deep. And where was immensely deep water? Amba kimasi gahanam gabhiram. Was there kim amba gahanam gabhiram asit? No, no asit. There was nothing. So this is the simple meaning of this mantra. But if we go to the Vedanta, that means Shankara Vedanta, then its meaning is that there are some questions also. The question is, was there no Brahman, Parabrahman? Parabrahman was very much there, but the Parabrahman with Maya was not there. The Brahman, Parabrahman, the supreme Brahman, the supreme God of Shankara Vedanta, the Vedanta that is represented by Shankaracharya, and that was followed by our great Guru also here. Because that leads to oneness, and the Isha Vasya Upanishad says that yasya sarvani bhutani atmaivabhut vijanata tatra ko moha kashoka ekatvam anupashyata. So ekatvam. So Shankara is accepted by us in our school, presided over by our great Guru, that ekatva, the original unqualified non-dualistic philosophy, Nirvishesha Advaita. Nirvishesha Advaita. So in that Nirvishesha Advaita, the dualism is not at all there. The Brahman, the Parabrahman has two types of appearances in that system. One appearance is as Mayapati, omnipresent, omniscient Brahman endowed with Maya. That is called Ishvara. That is called Ishvara. And it has been pointed out by Vedantic Acharyas that Vedantic Mayapati is really Ishvara, and that Ishvara has multiple manifestations. He may be Brahma, he may be Vishnu, he may be Shiva, he may be Devi, he may be Parashurama, he may be a fish, he may be a turtle, whatever. He may be a pig, whatever. He may be a dwarf, he may be a lion. So, whatever forms he may take, any form, but as Mayapati. So that appearance where he appears as omniscient, omnipresent, and omnipotent God. He can do anything and everything. So some Vedantic texts tell us that this is his Sattvika appearance. Sattvika appearance is as God. And his tamasic appearance is like ourselves, Jivatma, who is a slave of Maya. He is not a master of Maya, but slave of Maya. And he or she takes everything as real. And he proceeds that way. So there was neither Ishvara there in the pre-creative state, nor any jiva like us was there. So there was nothing like that. Even Ishvara, Parabrahman with Maya was not present there. So he was also not there, and his appearance as Ishvara was also not there, and there is no question of his appearance as Jivatma, that also was not there. So this mantra, it says that there was nothing that could be said to have existed there. Even non-existent was not there. Of course, we cannot conclude that way that the existent was there. We cannot, because that also has been denied. Nothing was existent. Nothing was non-existent. And there was no jiva, no jivatma. Where was the jivatma, or whose consumption of fruits of actions performed in the past, there could be some coverage, and so that was also not there. And because sermon itself was not there, the action or the past action that was done, performed by the Jivatmas, that was also not there. So there was nothing to be talked about. So that is what the first verse tells us.
Dr. Sharma?
Yes?
A question on this. Do you think that means that, are they talking about there was nothing before time or nothing outside of time? In other words, later it's like the whole idea of time becomes.
That's right, that's right.
It's part of Maya, actually.
Yes, part of the entire Maya was absent, was conspicuous by its absence. So, but a position does not sit idle. They say your use of the word was indicates that there was some time. Even if
Oh my goodness.
even if negative.
If you have a past tense verse, it brings in that there should be time.
So there should be time. But everything is denied by saying that non-existent was also not there and existent was also not there. So it is upalakshana. The time is just to say something, and everything was inexplicable. That's what it is. It could not be explained. Could not be explained. That's all.
Thank you.
Dr. Sharma, about the water, is it implied that there was water or no?
No.
So,
It is kim gahanam gabhiram amba asi.
okay,
So the question mark says that it was not.
okay. Another he does.
Dr. Sharma?
Yes.
Is jiva, is that like a soul or sentience?
That's right. Jiva is individual self. Is jivatma. So the first mantra, if it is clear, and the author of Croaking Frogs, Mr. Les Morgan, is especially interested in metrics. So from metrical point of view, what is your observation of the first mantra?
I have no observation,
No observation.
other than that Dr.
So-
Sharma is the expert.
So the frog is not croaking even.
The frog is avoiding
Your frog is quiet.
any sound whatsoever.
Croaking less frog.
Does Dr. Sharma have a view regarding the verse?
Yes, it is as I said. This the Upakramanika says that all the mantras of this are Trishtup meter. The Trishtup meter is 11 syllabic meter. But here second pada has problem. First pada no problem. Kimavariva kuhakasya sarman. That also has no problem. Ambha kimasit gahanam gabhiram. That also has no problem. But the second pada has problem. Nasid rajo no vyoma paruyat. It is vyoma. It is long a. Vyoma paruyat. Of course, in classical Sanskrit, Vyoman is the word. So even then it could be Vyoma, and but it is Vyoma. It is a long tail.
Dr. Sharma?
But that's
Is
only
it-
a typo in the transliteration, right? In other words, the correct rendering of the Devanagari is shown here. Is that what?
Yes, no Vyoma.
Okay, so,
It's
No,
just
it
a
is
typo.
in Devanagari here also. It's all right.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just a
Translation
typo. The correct reading is Vyoma.
yeah, That this, there is likely to be several typos. I did the Latin letters in very much of a rush.
Right.
So
But the Devanagari is correct.
I was expecting it to be what I'm used to, which is Vyoma should be short on classical Sanskrit, so that I'm more easily to make mistakes
In,
when
yes, in classical Sanskrit it is always
short.
shorter. It's not. Of course, the word Akasha is Pumlinga. Akasha is Pumlinga in classical Sanskrit, but the Nyaya school it always uses Akasha in neuter. Shabd Gunakam Akasham, and their Sanskrit is sometimes ridiculed. Asmakunam Nayayikesham Artharitatparyam na Shabda. This is their Sanskrit.
The other metrical observation, which you already commented on, is Siefer's law, which applies in the VO.
Yes.
And so in order to get the extra syllable, it's
Yes.
necessary to decompose what would be one
Vyoma.
syllable into two from a chanting.
Vyoma.
V-O-Ma.
Vyoma. Paroya.
So Dr. Sharma, in here the long ah, is this example of Vedic irregularity in that the neuter is got a long ah,
That's right.
or but it is still
It is
napunsakam, or
It is Napunsakam in classical Sanskrit. It is Napunsakam.
but atra kimasti.
Here it is para.
Ah.
Para is the it is a qualifier of Vyoma.
Okay, so it has to
So
be
it would be
masculine.
better. Yes.
Okay.
Dr. Sharma,
Yes.
is Akasha between the seven worlds on each side? Is that like all of worldly creation
Yes.
that we can see?
Yes, Akasha we cannot see, and that is why in one of the Upanishadic mantra that we chant, we say that the wind, you are the first perceptible gross element. Tvameva pratyaksham brahmasi. Tvameva pratyaksham brahma vadishyami. Ritang vadishyami. Satyang vadishyami. Tanmam avatu. Tadvaktaram avatu. Avatu mam. Avatu bhaktaram. So we say that wind is the first, and its definition given in Tarka Sangraha is Rupa Rahita Sparshavan Vayu. Rupa Rahita Sparshavan, that it has no form, but it makes itself felt by touch. You cannot touch it, but it can always touch you.
Dr. Sharma, in Sanskrit tradition, is there any relationship directly between wind and Visarga?
Wind and Visarga.
Because Visarga is extra air.
Yes.
Is there any
Visarga is Mahaprana, but it is voiceless Mahaprana. The only difference between Ha and Visarga is that Ha is voiced, I mean Ghosha, as well as Mahaprana. For example, Ka is Alpa Prana, Kha is Mahaprana, and Aghosha, it is voiceless. And Ga is no Mahaprana, Alpha Prana, it is small amount of wind you spend on it. So, but it is voiced. voice, because if you chant ga and you put your finger into your ears, ag, for example, ag, and ak, you could see that ak, ak, ag, ag. So you find difference
Vibration.
between ka and ga. So that is voiceness. That is voiceness. That is voiceness is that there are two chords here. So two chords, when they are set apart, when there is no constriction of those chords, then you have voiceless sounds. Ka, ka, for example, they are set apart. These two chords, vocal chords, they are known as. But when they come closer, then you have ga. So then that creates some vibration. Nada. First of all, sambara. Sambara is the placing together of the vocal cords, placing together, and then it creates some vibration, that is nada. And when it is nada, then there is ghosha. So sambaraha, nadaha, and ghosha. These three come together. So ga is sambaraha, nadaha, ghosha, as you have seen already. Ak, there is no echoing sound there. So that means that vocal cords are set apart, and they are not together. They are not closer even. And then there is no vibration. So ka is a voiceless sound, and kha is also a voiceless sound, but it is mahaprana. That is, you need a great volume of wind to pronounce it. That is why when you want to kindle fire, you don't say poo, you say poo, poo, because that has more mahaprana, that pa is there. So in kha there is mahaprana, but there is no voiceness. The vocal cords are not together. But in ga, you have vocal cords are together, and there is vibration, and the resultant nada and the resultant ghosha. That is nada and ghosha. They follow the sambara of the two vocal cords. But gha is voiced as well as mahaprana. So gha is both. It is vocal cords are together, and you need a larger volume of the wind to pronounce that gha. So sometimes in certain linguistic traditions, it is very difficult to pronounce gha. In English, you don't have gha. Even though you write gh in lahu, light, but you cannot pronounce gh, ligata. But in Sanskrit they call it laghu, and laghu has both the meaning that the word light has. Lagu means instantaneously, soon. And Lagu means also short. And Lagu also means light. Light of the stars, light of the moon, light of the sun. That also is Lagu. Raghu Vansha, and you could also call it Laghu Vansha. So that is the difference. Your question was that how is Visarga? Visarga needs quite a lot of wind. Visarga also needs, but it is not voiced. It is unvoiced Mahaprana. Non-voiced aspirate. In English, they call it aspirate. As you have the pit, you pronounce it as pit. Pit initial alpa prana, initial unaspirate. In English tradition, they pronounce it as aspirate, slightly aspirate, fit, something like that. So that is your question answer is that Visarga is Mahaprana, but it is not voiced, it is not Ghosha. But Ha, the full-fledged Ha, is Mahaprana as well as Ghosha. It is voiced as well as aspirate. Both are there in Ha and Visarga. That is the difference. And Visarga also has one special characteristic, and that is natural, even though people do not like it, but whether they like it or not, it is natural. Hari Hi. We make it Hari Hi. And we make it voiced in actual pronunciation. Everywhere, north, south, east, west, everywhere they do it. Hari Hi Om. In Varanasi also you might be hearing this. Hari Hi Om.
So the vowel is echoed a little bit?
That's right. Whatever the preceding vowel, with that it is repeated, and repeated with voiced Ha. But in itself it is Rama. It is not voiced. In classical Sanskrit also, when you say Rama, it is not voiced. But Hari Hi Om, when you chant something, so then you make it syllabic as well as it is non-syllabic. It is non-syllabic sound, like Anuswara. Like Anuswara,
Just
it is
preceded by ha in the same word? Preceded by ha in the same word.
That's right.
Okay, can be way back. Several syllables back. Doesn't matter.
I think what he's talking about is just the echo thing where we do Om Shanti and we do Shanti.
Immediate.
We get that extra syllable.
Immediate.
Yes, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. That's what the people will say. For example, if there is some other sound that does not change the Visarga. So Shanti, after that you have Shanti. So there Visarga is generally not changed. Of course you could say Shanti, 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 Shanti.
That is making more
But
complication.
nobody does it.
But why just with Hari?
But in the beginning, in the end, you will say Shanti.
Yes.
I think he's asking why with Hari, and I think, Dr. Sharma, your example was just Hari, right? Like,
It is
Sarvatra
an example. It is an example. Shanti, if it is at the end,
At the end.
at the end, they call it, they make it Shanti. That's what people generally do.
In verse, is one way or the other
That's right.
optional or preferred?
No, in the verse, in classical Sanskrit, if you chant the verse, so Trailokyanatho Hari, they will there they will say Hari. But if it is Vedic chanting, they should be more careful. But their carefulness makes it more voiced and more. They make it syllabic, as a matter of fact. They make it syllabic. Shanti, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. They make it.
So can you give example with Hari, Dr. Sharma?
Yes. Harihi, Harihi Om. Every day, every time they say Harihi Om, Harihi Om, Om Ma. They try to make it syllabic. Harihi Om Ma, in especially in Shukla Yajurveda, in the white branch of the Yajurveda, they generally make Ma, the last M as Ma, Ma. Harihi Om Ma, they will say.
So again, you get an extra syllable. Yes?
That's right.
Huh.
Harihi Om Ma, they will say. Of course, it is not correct, but it is natural and it is available everywhere. In Varanasi also, they say they chant it like that.
And Dr. G, would Guru Hu? You also would echo any other vowel, Guru Hu?
Guru Hu, yes,
Same.
it will be. Guru Hu. I, he. It will not be I.
That's right.
But I, he.
They are related, yes.
So it is natural phenomena, and so nothing to be taken very seriously. But here in the second pada, Vyoma, if we say, then its nature as Trishtu meter is fulfilled. It is required to be Vyoma. And as we do in the Gayatri mantra, Tat Savitur Varenyam. There also the first law applies. Tat Savitur Varenyam. If it is done, then it is understood. It is correct. And some people do it. Varenyam. Tat Savitur Varenyam. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. And Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Each pada of Gayatri is a peculiar meter in which according to one principle, and that is the principle that works generally. The eight syllables per pada of 3 pada meter. Tripad. So Tat Savitur Vareniyam. If it is not done, then it is 7 syllables only. Tat Savitur Vareniyam is 7 syllables. But if you apply the first law, then Tat Savitur Vareniyam. Some people will come to the extent of saying that Tat Savitur Vareni Om. You chant it as Om, Vareni Om. Anyway, so if there is no question, we can proceed to the second mantra. And if there is any question, feel free to ask. If I am unable to answer, I will say I don't know.
This has never occurred, however.
It's polite.
Namriturashidamritam natarhi
Namrityurasiramatam natari.
Naratrya anna asit praketa.
Naratrya anna asit praketa.
Ani davatam swadhaya tadekam.
Anidavatam swadhaya tadekam.
Tasmad dhanyan
Tasmadhanyam
napara
napara
kinchidasa.
kinchidasa.
Kinchanasa.
Kinchidasa.
Kinchanasa.
Kinchanasa.
Okay, so typo should not be a ma at the end.
Kinchanasa.
Okay, so typo for second verses, there should be no M at the end of that.
So, fortunately, there was no mrityu then. No death. Namrityu Rasit. And Asit is imperfect imperfect third person singular. Asit. From us. Namrityu Asit. And Mrityu Visarga has become Ra here. Namrityu Rasit. Mrityu Visarga following any sound, any voiced sound or any vowel, and preceded by any visarga, preceded by any vowel other than short a, it changes to ra. So namrityuhu asit. So it is the visarga is preceded by u. So that visarga has become ra. So namrityur asit. Asit is third person in
Lung.
yes, lung. Lung is us, imperfect. So namrityuhu asit. There was no death. Then there should have been amritam, ambrosia, or immortality. And there was no immortality. Tarhi. Tarhi is used also in classical Sanskrit. Bharati is doing these days that very chapter where Tarhi is there. Tarhi means at that time. Tada. Tada is also that time, and Tarhi is also that time. Tadanim is also that time. So Amritam na Tarhi. Amrita was also not there. The immortality was also not there at that time, Tarhi. And there was no praketa. Praketa is understanding, feeling, or knowledge. there was no cognition of either night or daytime. Naratrya Anna Asit Praketa. That is, there was no feeling, there was no understanding of day or night. First one is night, and then it is Anna. Anna is of the day. So there was no feeling of night or day. But tat ekam, avatam, tada anit, avatam anit. Anit is from an. The root an is there, from which you have the word prana. And aniti. It is praniti. Praniti means he breathes. Somebody is breathing. It's praniti. So tat ekam, that one, Parabrahman, that one supreme, absolutely supreme God. Tat ekam, avatam, even without the wind. Anit. Anit means it was breathing. That one was breathing tarhi at that time. That one was breathing without the wind. Because there was no space. So how could there be wind? There was no space, so there was no wind. So Ani Avatam. Avatam is, Vata is wind, and Avatam without wind. Swadhaya. Swadhaya by its own power. By its own power. It Anit. It breathed. It breathed. Anidavatam Swadhaya Tat Ekam. That one and only one. Tarhi at that time he breathed without the wind. And Tasmat Ha Anyat, and barring him or barring that, Tasmat. Tasmat is Tat, Tat, fifth case ending, singular. Tasmat. And Ha is there. And that Ha, Tasmad and Ha, they taken together, they have become Tasmadha. And Anyat. Anyat means other than him or other than that Parabrahman. Ha means just definitely. Na para kinchanasa. Asa, of course, us root is if somebody is a student of classical Sanskrit, so the perfect of us in classical Sanskrit, what it would be? Yes. Yes. What? Yes. Yes. She is a Paninian, Indira Ji. So the the perfect of us is Babhuva, and the aorist of us, Abhut, and future of us, Bhavishyati, Bhavishyati, Bhavita, and the Asir, Asir Ling of Bhu, Asir Ling of us would be Bhuyat. So elsewhere, except the present indicative, active, and imperative, as well as imperfect, except these, and optative, that us is asti, astu, and second person imperative of us, what it would be? Yes, Kyung Shoji from Varanasi.
80.
Yes, you are right. Edi. So glad that you are so up to date in Sanskrit. Edi. Edi stat stam sta asani asava asama. It would be not asni. It should be asani asava asama. So imperative, and asit is imperfect. Asit astam asan, asit astam asta, asam asva asma, and optative is syat. Syat syatam syu, syama syama. So, except these four, everywhere it is asa is not there. It is Babhuva. But historically speaking, asa is still present in classical Sanskrit as well. And that Indiraji will tell us.
I'm sorry, Dr.
How
Sharma.
is it asa is present even in classical Sanskrit?
Well, you have the periphrastic lit.
Yes, lit. Yes, lit.
Amasa
So amasa tu, amasu. So in lit, in perfect, there are, of course, for example, if you have who causative would be bhavayati, but its perfect form, what it would be? Bhavayam chakara, bhavayam babhuva, and bhavayamasa. So asa is there. There, this perfect form is also preserved in classical Sanskrit. It is very much there. So here it is namrit turasit amritam natarhi naratrya anna asit na asit praketa. Praketa is kiti jnane. The root kiti is understanding or feeling or whatever you in whatever way you think it could be best translated into English.
Sense of night.
Sense of night. There was no sense of night or sense of day. There was no feeling of night nor feeling of day. Everywhere Now here it is feeling of daytime, and in India it must be night time. So day and night are always present everywhere. Everywhere something is there. If it is night here, then day in India, and if it is day here, night in India. So that is a well-known secret. So Anna Asit Praketa. So there was no sense of night or day anywhere. And Anit Avatam Swadaya Tat Ekam. That one, that is Brahman. And not even his Maya. Maya was also not there. Swadaya, with his own power. With his own power, he was breathing. Anit. Anit is, again, it is imperfect. Avatam, without the wind. And just with his own power. And if you go to Kenopanishad, everything that our body needs, every indriya that our body needs for specific purposes, it is denied there for Atman, for the self. Yan manasa na manute, yena hur mano matam, tadeva brahma tadvidhi, nedam yadidamupasate. Yat chakshusha na pashyati, yena chakshunsi pashyati, tadeva brahma tadvidhi, nedam yadidamupasate. Yat karnabhyang na srinoti, yena karnam srinoti cha, something like that. Tadeva brahmatvam vidhi nedam yadidam upasate. So that which does not need a mind to think, but on account of which the mind thinks. That is yourself. That is Brahma. That which does not need eyes to see, but that which, on account of which eyes see, that is yourself. So that Kenopanishad makes it very clear. So, Anidavatam Swadaya Tadekam, and Tasmadha Anyan Napara Kinchana Sa. Sometimes we read it, we chant it at Nakinchidasa. Tasmadhanyan Napara Kinchidasa. But the direct, correct reading is Kinchanasa. Kinchana Asa. Tasmad Ha Anyat. Anyat has becomes Anyan on account of the following nasal sound. So if their nasal sound is following, then non-nasal sound also becomes nasal. It assimilates that non-nasal sound to nasality. So tasmad ha anyat na para kinchana asa. So asa is perfect here of us, Vedic perfect. So other than that Brahman, there was nothing else available. Nothing else was there. Tasmad ha anyat na para kinchana asa. Kinchanasam is not there. Kinchanasa. The mo is redundant. Mo you can, but in Devanagari it is all right. In Devanagari it is Kinchanasa. Let me read Devanagari. itself. And then, shall we proceed further?
One small question, Dr. Sharma. In the Devanagari, where they have Kim and Chana written separately, is this Vedic style? Because classical Sanskrit, you would have Kinchana. It is becoming one word, yeah?
Yes, it should be together.
So is this mistake in this edition, even in Vedic, should be together?
No, it is King Chana Asa. This Padapatha, it is Kim is separate and Chana is separate. Anyway, that's all right.
Okay.
So there is nothing wrong there. King Janasa.
It's that way in this other edition also.
Separate?
That's
okay.
right.
Thank you.
So let us proceed to number 3. Tamasi.
Tamasi.
Tamasa gudhamagre.
Tamasa gudhamagre.
Apraketam.
Apraketam.
Salilang.
Salilam.
Sarvama idam.
Sarvama idam.
Tuchena.
Tuchena.
Abhu.
Abhu.
Apihitam.
Apihitam.
Yadasi.
Yadasi.
Tapasas.
Tapasas.
Tat.
Tat.
Mahima.
Mahima.
Mahina.
Mahina.
Jayataikam.
Jayataikam.
So here, tama asit tamasa gudham. Gudham in classical Sanskrit is from guhayati. That is one hides something. And gudham in classical Sanskrit also means deep. So tamaha, tamasa gudham asit. Gudham. Gudham. It is law is there. Ajmadhyastha lakarasya lakaram bhavricha jabu. That is in Rig Veda. If there is law is there, and in the middle of the preceded and followed by a vowel, then it reads like la, la, la. So kulha, kulha. It is just like classical Sanskrit gudha, where ha becomes dha, as saha becomes sodha, sodha. Sahate, tena sodham, tena sodham. So similarly, guhayati, iti gudham. Gudham is deep. So tama asi, the tama is the darkness was hidden by darkness. The darkness was hidden by darkness. Tamasa gudham agre. That is forward, in forward way. Tama asit tamasa gudham agre. And apraketam salilang sarvam asit. It is asit has become a. Yes, Vedic is. So apraketam salilang sarvam asit idam. And this water was apraketam. Even if it was apraketam. It was not known, it was not felt that it was present there. Apraketam salilam sarvam a idam. And tuchena here is tuchena, and tuchena has the sense of maya. Whatever was apihitam. Apihitam means closed. Apihitam. Apihitam could be also said pihitam. So whatever was closed or hidden by maya, whatever abhu is the beings, all the beings that were hidden by maya, by tuchena, by the tuchha maya, yadasit tapasas tan mahina ajayata ekam tat ekam. That one, that is all beings taken as one. So that one, on account of the magnanimity of tapas, of austerity, divine austerity, tapasas tan mahina, mahimna. It is in classical Sanskrit it will be said mahimna. And mahimna has become mahina here. The makara has been, ma has been elided. So that on account of the magnanimity of of that being, that super consciousness, that being, tan mahina, ekam tat ajayata, tan mahina ajayata. Ajayata is from jan, and it is fourth conjugation, jayate. Jayate is in present indicative active, that is born. And ajayata means was born. So on account of tapas, that one was born. That one and only one was born. Tapasas tan mahina ekam ajayata. What was hidden by the maya, so on account of the magnanimity or greatness of that maya, or of that great Brahman, absolute Brahman, on account of his or her or its, whatever you may call it, its greatness, it was born at that time. Tapasas tan mahina ekam, that one was born. So it is also the same Shankara philosophy of non-dualism is at work here also. Tapasas tan mahina ajayata ekam. And in fact, there is an Agamarshana Sukta that we are going to do next week. Agamarshana Sukta it is called. And it starts with Ritam cha Satyam cha Abhidhat Tapasah Adhyajayata. It says, it is not here. Abhidhat Tapasah. Abhidhat means kindled tapas, kindled heat. Tapas is heat. Literally, tapas means heat. I am sometimes reminded of some of my own experience, and I don't want to hide anything from my audience. So one gentleman who is a professor of immunity now in where is it? In Pittsburgh somewhere, Professor Srivastava. So he once asked me, what are the various devices for heating? So in Ayurveda. So I sent him the entire the translation of there is an entire chapter. There is a chapter of Charak Samhita that deals with Svedana. They call it Svedana. So sudation. So I sent him that. And then one seminar that he was attending, I also attended that. So he was talking about the heating therapy. And he said that the gentleman who is considered to be the father of modern allopathy, what was his name? Modern allopathy. Allopathic treatment or allopathy.
All the doctors take an oath in them.
Yes.
You don't mean Hippocrates.
Hippocratic.
Hippocrates. So Hippocrates said that if some ailment cannot be cured by this therapy, you apply this therapy. If not even by this, you apply heating therapy. And if it cannot be cured by heating therapy, then you declare it as incurable. So heating therapy was considered to be the best therapy. And as he was telling me that one of the constituents of heating therapy is fasting. So in the open seminar that he was talking, and others were also participating, it was pointed out that of all the devices of longevity, the fasting is considered to be the best device because of its heating element involved, because of its heating quality, because fasting also creates a sort of heat in your body. And so he has, perhaps by now he must have succeeded, and the object of his topic of research was that the same tumor, the cancerous tumor, if it is appropriately heated, that can be the best curative device for curing the cancer. And that is why he was in search for this heating therapy.
So the heat to be applied from outside or generated internally?
No, it is generated internally. It is to be generated internally. So in that, so many other things also came out in that seminar. I was also attending that. I was specially invited to attend that seminar. And they came to the conclusion that fasting is the best device so far for longevity. And we know that women in our society undertake fast more than males.
Yeah.
And in our society, generally speaking, women are more long-lived than men. Do you agree, General
Yes.
Prasad?
Because this brother and all that, any
Vrata,
excuse to go on a fast.
sometimes they undergo fast for 48 hours, 36 hours, some of the festivals. And they are more long-lived than men. That is true. So tapas is a very important item, and tapas literally means heat. And so Ritanka Satyanka Abhidhat Tapasa, and there it is, the word Abhidhat also is used, as you will see next week. Abhidha means that it is very uh, immensely kindled tapasa. From immensely kindled tapas, this Rita and Satya came out, and from which the Srishti came and all that. So Tama Asit Tamasa Gulamagre Apraketang Salilang Sarvam A Idam Tuchena Abhu. Abhu is all beings who are scattered all over the planet. Abhu, all existent, the entire existent world. Abhu, it is from Bhu, Bhu to become. So all the Abhu was hidden by Tuchena, by Maya, by the power of Super Brahman, absolutely Super Brahman. So is with Maya, what was hidden until then, that tapasa tan mahimna, ekam tat ajayata. So which was hidden already on account of Maya itself, but on account of the magnanimity of tapas, his austerity. Austerity of whom? Austerity of Parabrahman. He had also to conduct some austerity. So on account of greatness of that tapas, that ekam tat ajayata, that one and only one that was born as Ishvara, tapasastan mahimna ajayata ekam. And that ekam is explained further in the next verse. Oh, it is done? It is time?
I think one more we could do.
Yes, I see. I don't want to detain you. So who was that one? Ekam. Kamastadagre. Samavartatadi. Manasoreta. Prathamam yadasit. Sato bandhum. Asati niravindan. Hridi pratisya. Kavayo manisha. So that one which was born with the with the austerity of that Super Brahman, what was that? Kamastadagre samavartata, adhisamavartata. That one was kama, the desire. Tadaikshata, tadaikshata bahusyang prajayeya. Let me be born in multiple ways. So that desire came out. So in the previous verse we have said, tapasastan mahimna ajayata ekam. So that ekam was kama, the desire. Tadagre adhi samavartata. So that was kama, that was desire. And which was the first seed, that was the first seed of mind. Reta prathamam. Manasah reta prathamam yat asi. That which was the first seed. First seed is of reta, of mind, manasah. Reta prathamam yat asit. Yat asit and yah asit in Vedic, it does not mean much. It is neuter, can be masculine, and masculine can be neuter, no problem. So kamastadagre samavartatadhi, it is kama, masculine, and then yat prathamam retah manasah asit. That was first reta, first seed of the mind. Manaso reta prathamam yadasi. And as it has been pointed out in the first verse, first mantra, asati. Asati means in non-existent. In the non-existent. Kavaya. The knowledgeable, wise persons. And asati ridi, and there was no heart even, no mind, no heart. Asati ridi. Pratishya manishaya. Pratishya manishaya. So instead of manishaya, it is manisha. It is manisha is wisdom.
And I have one typo here. It is pratichyam is in the English. It should be pratishya, cerebral sha, instead of the cha. Sorry about that. And also no nasal at the end. So two typos.
But in Devanagari, everything is correct.
Yeah, it is just English mistake came.
So the knowledgeable persons with their excellent wisdom, Pratishya Manishaya, Asati, that is in the non-existent, they Satah Niravindan, they found the existent ones. They found the existent ones, Satah Satah is second case ending plural. San, santau, santa, santang, santau, satah. So satah, bandhum. Bandhum means the cause, the causative factor. The causative factor of satah, I'm sorry, satah is of existence, justice. Yes. Satah bandhum asati hridi they pratishya manishaya with their with their uh, with their wisdom manishaya they could find out niravindan the bandhum that is cause of the existence asati which was in the asati that was non-existent at that time. In the non-existent, they could find the cause of the existent.
And the Riddhi here is, what is it qualifying, the Manisha?
No, Riddhi is Asati Riddhi.
Okay.
Asati Riddhi. Asati Riddhi Pratishya Manishaya Kavayah Satah Bandhum Niravindan. Bandhum here is the binding force of the existent. And binding force is nothing but the cause. So, Sato Bandhum Asati Riddhi in the which was non-existent. Rid also was not existent. But Asati Riddhi, the Ravindan, in the heart, that is, the heart represents the emotional aspect of the brain. Today itself I was teaching the Upanishad, and there also Vidya and the question of Vidya and Avidya comes there. And here also Riddhi, Asati Riddhi, Satah Bandhum, that they Niravindan, Kavaya Pratishya Manishaya, Asati Riddhi, Satah Bandhum Niravindan. They could get, they could locate, they could find out the causative factor of all existent. That causative factor cannot be anything else except consciousness, the self, which is nothing but Brahman, that Tvamasi. So this mantra also uh, very often it brings to us the philosophy of absolute non-dualism. So that also is there. Sato bandhum asati niravindan vidit pratishya kavayo manisha. Kavaya manishaya riddhi. Asati riddhi. They niravindan. Avindan is vidri labhe. Vidri labhe is vindati. And this is Avindan. Avindan is imperfect third person plural. And Kavaya, Niravindan, that is that they extracted or they could discover the cause, bandhum, of Sata, the existent of the existent. So that's all. We have to end here. What to do? It is such a wonderful. And next week we will do this as well as that Ritanta Satyanta. That also we will do. Thank you so much.
Dr. Sharma, can you lead us in all four?
Oh yes.
Okay. We could do one more time.
Om Nasadasi no sadasi tadani
Nasadasi no sadasi tadani
Nasidrajo no vyoma paruyat
Nasidrajo no vyoma paruyat
Kimavariva kuhakasya sharman
Kimavariva kuhakasya sharman
Ambha kimasit gahanam gabhiram
Ambha kimasit gahanam gabhiram
Namritturasid amritam natarhi
Namrityurasi damritam natari
Naratriya
Naratriya
Anna
Anna
Asit Praketa
Asi Pradeta
Ani Davatan
Ani Davatam
Swadhaya Tadekam
Svayatadekam
Tasmat Dhanyan
Tasmadhanyam
Naparak Kinchanasa
Naparakinchanasa
Tama Asit
Tamasi
Tamasa Gurhamagre
Tamasagudhamagre
Apraketan
Apraketam
Salilang
Salilam
Sarvamaidam
Sarvamaidam
Tuchena Vvapihitam Yadasi
Tuchena Vahitam Yadasi
Tapasastan Mahina Jayataikam
Tapasastam Mahina Jayataikam
Kamastadagre Samavartatadhi
Kamastadagre Samavartatadhi
Manasoreta Prathamam Yadasi
Manasoreta Prathamam Yadasi
Sato Bandhumasati Niravindan
Sato Bandhumasati Nirvindam
Ridit Pratishya Kavayo Manisha
Hridi Pratisha Kavayo Manisha
Ridit Pratishya Kavayo Manisha
Hridi Pratisha Kavayo Manisha
Shanti
Shanti Shanti
Thank you. I could not drink the Somarasa. I will drink now.
So Dr. Sharma, this is more like a speculative views of the Rishi
That's
of what the creation, the first, the birth of universe or whatever you may call it.
We cannot imagine what would have been there.
Yeah.
We cannot imagine. So the Rishi wants us to imagine something, speculate something.
But he's holding back from making a definite statement and saying, well, this is how it was. He's saying, maybe this is what happened, or maybe this is what.
They ultimately their view is, ultimate view is that Maya cannot be explained.
Okay.
Anirvachya. Anirvachaniya. And there is a book, Khandana Khanda Khadya. And that is also by the same author who authors this Naishadhiya Charitam, the Kavya. And so he said in the Khandana Khanda Khadya, any statement you make is wrong.
Yeah.
Any statement. Khandana Khanda Khadya. And so that eats away all these statements.
You know, currently on the public PBS, there's a program called Cosmos. And there is an astrophysicist, his name is Neil deGrasse Tyson. He is speculating and he's talking about the birth of the universe, which is very similar to what you find in the Nasadiya Sutra. Is that it all originated as an idea, as a thought or something in the mind, some force which is created. Because he says this is the frontier of science. We have whatever, this is our knowledge ends there. Beyond that we do not know. And it's amazing, you know, how many thousand years back this was composed, and with intuitive knowledge they hit upon something which was today science is almost validated.
But one physicist said he is a Nobel laureate, and in the International House, Berkeley, he said that this modern science has not yet been able to understand, or even to understand slightly, more than 4% of the total elements in the universe. Not even 4%. 4% they know, but they cannot claim that they know everything of that 4%. They cannot claim that. And this lecture was in Berkeley, International House. And Mr. Marcelo, I call him Mahadevji, he had also accompanied me. And the name of that physicist I am forgetting. But he was a Nobel laureate. So science also is, Einstein also, his theory of relativity is something like that nothing can be explained in its entirety. And this Jaina principle of Anekantavada, Jaina principle is there, Anekantavada. Will you tell me something of Anekantavada of Jainas? You live among Jainas there. So Jaina principle of Anekantavada is that you cannot know everything of anything. That is Anekantavada. And that's what they call, and it is only their Tirthankaras, the omniscient Tirthankaras who know everything of something.
So I came across a quotation, I don't know from which Upanishad it is, Antaya Bahuvadinam Anantaya Mukam. You may like to explain that in.
I see.
So, Oscar, if you want to comment on that. Antaya Bahuvadinam
Antaya Bahuvadinam
Anantaya Mukam.
Anantaya Mukam. So, Antaya Bahuvadinam, who talk too much about something that this is it is firmly, they make So for elimination of such persons and anantaya mukam, and for infinite the silent.
Silence is the best.
Silence is the best thing. So nothing like silence. If you ask any question, and if instead of answering it in so many words, if silence is maintained, nothing like it. Because no question can be fully answered. Because here also there was no non-existent and there was no existent.
Right.
So is it possible? We
Or
don't-
darkness covering darkness.
Is it possible that there is nothing non-existent and nothing existent? We cannot make this statement now logically. This statement is not logical. And the very statement Purnamada, Purnamidam, Purnat Purnamudachyate, Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. That also is mathematically impossible.
Right.
You take out full
And it's a
from the full, and the container is full. The container is full. So how is it possible? It is not possible. Anyway, whatever it is.
Thank you, Wes. Well taken care of.